here with Jacob Queen today, and thanks for coming out and talking to us. We just would wonder if you would share with us a little bit about your journey, your faith experience, just whatever you'd like to tell us.
Well, I mean, like I told Kevin the other day when we started talking about this project, I'm kind of agnostic. Like, that means I just don't know whether there's a God. I'm not one of those, I'm not atheist, which is like, we don't believe in God, they don't believe in God, don't care about God. I just don't know. It all started when I was like 15, 3 years after my grandmother passed. I started to question whether the Catholic Church was right for me, one. Then I also started to question whether there was a God at that point, because I felt like he wouldn't have let my grandmother pass, he wouldn't have let the world get to this, and just all sorts of things started to steer me that way. It was mostly like the corruption I noticed in the Catholic Church, though. There was a lot of that.
You mentioned the Catholic Church. Just tell us a little bit about your experience being raised Catholic and how that impacted you positively or negatively or whatever.
Well, I mean, I feel like it kind of impacted me positively, because growing up Catholic, I realized that there are a lot of different ways people celebrate their religion, whatever it may be. If, let's say, you're Christian, you're Buddhist, you're Muslim, it made me see diversity with all sorts of people. So it made me accept the fact that the world's not everybody's the same. It made me accept that we all have to get along, because we're not all the same kind of person, pretty much.
In describing yourself as an agnostic, Jacob, would you say that you are a seeker? Are you actively seeking God, or what does that look like for you on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I mean, there are days where I feel like I do seek God, and then there are days where I feel like, I don't know whether you exist, so I'm not going to seek you today. It's like pretty much living that part of my life on a day-to-day basis. It just comes and goes as with the day.
Are there times particularly that you feel closer to God than at other times? And if so, why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, if let's say you don't believe that way, which I'm perfectly okay with, there are times where I feel like there is something watching out for me. And times when you feel like, it should have happened this way instead of that way, and you're thankful it went the way it went. It's times like that. Like, let's say you're walking down in the middle of the road, a car just randomly is going like 60 miles an hour, and happens to stop right before it gets to you. The car should hit you completely, but you feel like something's looking out for you, whether that's karma, the cosmic order, or God. Whatever it is, I'm just thankful it was there.
Jacob, where do you see your journey leading you in the future? Maybe not just in the next few days or weeks or months, but years from now as you grow older. Do you see your faith evolving, or do you have any grasp of that or any thought of that?
That I really don't know. I know what I want to do within the next few years, that I know, but I don't know where my faith's going to evolve, whether it's going to whether I'm going to become more of a actual like Christian, or if I'm going to stay agnostic, or whether I'm going to become atheist.
Do you ever think about maybe going to church and being a part of a church, or is that nothing that's on your radar?
I've thought about it a couple of times, but I mean, where I felt so corrupt, the Catholic Church example, where there was so much corruption, so much darkness. Like, when I walked in there, sometimes my stomach would just knot up, and I would feel nauseous, disgusting. That kind of turned me off to it all. I mean, I'm open to going to a church, but it just depends on who's there, who's the pastor, and if I feel comfortable.
Have you ever thought of a different kind of church that's not Catholic, or
yeah, definitely. I went to one time I didn't go to Catholic church. I went with my grandmother, she was actually not Catholic, but she supported that we were raised Catholic, because my dad's side of the family was Catholic. I went with her to a Baptist church. It was an okay experience, other than I ate too much candy and got sick. So I mean, I enjoyed the experience at that Baptist church, which it was in Russell, actually. Russell Christian Baptist, if you know what that is. I think Tim, I can't remember. Tim Rogers used to be pastor. That was his name.
Well, Jacob, thanks so much for taking time with us today and sharing a little bit of your story. We really appreciate that.
Oh, no problem, man.